Permanent Commission of the Peruvian Congress approved the indictment of 3 former ministers of former President Pedro Castillo. In Ecuador, the National Assembly unanimously approves lifting the confidentiality status of information provided in investigations into corruption cases involving President Lasso. And in Malawi, authorities report nearly 200 dead after tropical Cyclone Freddy ripped through southern Africa for the second time in the month. From the headquarters of TeleSUR English in Havana, Cuba, this is From the South. I'm your anchor, Gladys Quesada. And now we begin with the news. The Permanent Commission of the Peruvian Congress has approved the indictment of 3 former ministers of former President Pedro Castillo for the crimes of rebellion and conspiracy against the Peruvian state. They are Betsy Chavez, who was the president of the Council of Ministers, and Roberto Sanchez and Willy Huertas, who were in charge of the Foreign Trade and Interior Ministries, respectively. It is now up to the plenary to decide whether to bring before the Public Prosecutor's Office the accusation contained in a 77-page document. The accused, their legal representatives, and some parliamentarians were the protagonists of a hard confrontation. And now we go live as top officials from China's Communist Party dialogues with worldwide representatives of political organizations and parties. Let's listen.
Social y económica para nuestro pueblo. Observamos el mundo.
We look at the world.
Cómo se trata de poner a prueba la energía maravillosa de los pueblos.
How they're trying to test the energy of the people that look for independence, peace, and equality and development. How they try to impose a unipolar model, not recognizing the diversity of the human civilization, not knowing our cultural power, the spiritual power of the people. That's not possible in the 21st century. Imperial times are over. The times of the people are here, and here to stay. Nobody can doubt that. Presidents, political leaders, nobody can doubt that there is a time of a new world that we call a multipolar world. A world of independence and integration of the people. This world called for plenty of conscience and unity of leadership. It also called for dialogue and coordination. It also calls for extra strength and perseverance to the correct path to build a just civilization. As my counterpart Xi Jinping said, a new civilization that allows culture and strength of the people to shine. A community of common interest. We share this concept. And we believe the time has come. The time has come right now. The time of the people. To build a new model to fight the capitalism, to fight the hegemonism, to fight blackmail, to fight coercive measures and blackmail and aggressions that try to impose our people their dominion. Venezuela has resisted this. And I can assure you that Venezuela is here. Our homeland is standing, victorious, and moving forward to the path of independence and peace. Our time has come. You can count with the support of Venezuela, of our people, and the Socialist Party of Venezuela, to build a civilization where everyone has a place. When we take the path of development and equality, a new civilization of peace, of harmony and unity, of shared development. You have all full support to this initiative. I'm sure the years to come, with the strength of all the peoples, will be good years. We are certain. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to all the presidents.
And top officials from China's Communist Party dialogues with worldwide representatives of political organizations and parties. We were listening remarks of the president of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro Moros, who also heads the Socialist United Party of Venezuela, who was highlighting the importance of a multipolar world and called for strong leadership, dialogues and coordination from the anti-imperialist and leftist forces. Maduro also praised the diversity of the leftist community, with social justice as a shared destiny and the faith with the goal of constructing an alternative model to the neoliberal capitalism of the Western powers. He also called for peace and stressed the role of Venezuela in the making of a new world. We have a short break now. Stay with us. Welcome back to From the South. The Russian President, Vladimir Putin, said on Tuesday that a ship owned by the energy giant Gazprom discovered evidence of a possible explosive device on one of the Nord Stream gas pipelines. In an interview with the Rossiya 1 television channel, Putin revealed that the ship discovered a pillar in one of the pipe's joints about 30 kilometers down the pipeline. According to experts, it could be an antenna for the detonation of an explosive device that could be planted under the pipeline system. The Russian president denied that pro-Ukrainian group could be behind the sabotage of the gas pipelines, adding that such an act can only be carried out by specialists backed by the full power of a state. President Putin considers that the project still has a future if the European countries show interest in restoring it. The Russian Ministry of Defense reports that its country neutralized on Sunday 440 Ukrainian military units as part of its special military operation. The ministry also reported 110 Ukrainian casualties in the Krasno-Limansky region, where the Russian troops destroyed 2 pickup trucks and a self-propelled artillery piece. The The report also says that 190 Kiev soldiers, as well as 3 tanks and mechanized armored vehicles, were eliminated in the direction of Donetsk. The Ministry of Defense concluded that in total, 400 Ukrainian planes and 220 helicopters were shot down. The European Union proposed a reform of the electricity market to try to replace the use of gas that was supplied by Russia. The initiative is promoted by the European Commission and seeks to accelerate the production of non-fossil renewable energies. The proposal raises the possibility that citizens can invest in wind and solar farms to achieve an ecological transition in the generation of energy. This position of the European Union comes in the midst of a hydrocarbon crisis that the region is going through after imposing strong restrictions on Russian energy. Syrian President Bashar al-Assad arrived in Moscow to formalize with his Russian counterpart, Vladimir Putin, an agenda of joint cooperation between both countries. The Syrian head of state was received at Moscow's Vnukovo International Airport by the Deputy Foreign Minister Mikhail Bondagov, who is also a special representative for the Russian president. The Kremlin confirmed that Putin and al-Assad will meet on Wednesday to discuss bilateral cooperation between both countries. The leaders are expected to discuss also the current issues, as well as further cooperation in the political, commercial, economic, and humanitarian spheres. And the Chinese government describes as hypocritical the declarations of the AUKUS alliance on the nuclear non-proliferation agreement. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin recalled that the AUKUS leaders began on Monday the implementation of a 3-phase plan to deliver nuclear-powered submarines with non-nuclear weapons to Australia. Wenbin said that with such actions, the leaders of the alliance break their international obligations and undermine peace and stability in the region and the world, calling their statements hypocritical. According to the official, the delivery of the weaponry to Australia constitutes a threat of proliferation of nuclear arms and violates the objectives of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty.
The Asia-Pacific region is the region of the world with the most vitality and fastest growth. This is an extremely precious situation. China urges the 3 countries to listen attentively to the demands of the international community and regional countries, abandon outdated Cold War zero-sum mentality and narrow geopolitical concepts, effectively fulfill international obligations, and avoid taking actions that harm regional and global peace and stability.
TeleSUR English continues to grow. You can now tune in from 33 different African countries through StarSat. Dial 461 and enjoy our Latin American alternative broadcast. One final short break and we'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to From the South. Nearly 200 people are now confirmed dead in Malawi after the devastating tropical Cyclone Freddy ripped through southern Africa for the 2nd time in a month. The rain continues to fall and overwhelmed rescue workers struggle to find both the dead and survivors in the mud, and the death toll is expected to rise. There has been extensive damage to infrastructure and homes. Power and communications are still down in many affected areas, and an estimated of 19,000 people have been displaced by the heavy rains that triggered floods and mudslides. The United Nations said the lack of power and communications is hindering operations, and with most of affected regions still inaccessible, the full extent of the damage remains unknown. NGOs fear that the number of cholera cases will increase in the country, which is already struggling with the deadliest infectious disease it has ever known.
What we are seeing here is a crisis. So far, we are talking about 122 people that we have confirmed that they have lost their lives, but quite a number of them that are missing. And this demands that all of us come in and support. People have been displaced, thousands and thousands, in all the 10 districts, Palombe.
We received a lot of rain around lunch hour, and this resulted in a flash flood from the hill, which swept away a lot of people, including my father, my sister, and 2 girls. This means that 4 people of my family are still missing as they are buried in the mud.
Mozambique's Disaster Management Institute confirmed on Tuesday that Cyclone Freddy has killed 20 people in the country and destroyed 1,900 houses in the coastal province of Zambezia, while tens of thousands of people are still living in shelters. The UN Weather Center on Reunion Island said Freddy is expected to continue battering central Mozambique and southern Malawi, with extreme rainfall before it returns to sea on Wednesday afternoon. The weather agency is determining whether Freddy has already broken the 31-day record set by Hurricane John in 1994, in which case it could be the longest tropical cyclone ever recorded. In southwestern Somalia, at least 5 people have been killed and 11 wounded, including a governor, in a suicide bombing. The attack was not immediately claimed, but eyes are on the Shabab, an al-Qaeda-affiliated group that regularly carries out suicide bombings in the poor and volatile Horn of Africa country. A police commander stated that a suicide bomber drove an explosive-laden vehicle into a guest house in Berdera, where government officials were staying. The officials included ghetto governor Ahmed Boulegred and several military commanders. The explosion destroyed most of the building and 5 security personnel were killed. In addition, 11 other people were injured, including the governor, without giving further details on the severity of the injuries. And like this, we have come to the end of this news brief. But remember, you can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. And also, if you feel so inclined, please join us on social media for all the latest news. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm your anchor, Gladys Quesada. Thank you for watching.